Well, this takes me back. Gazelle helicopter, Boscombe Down. Let's just make sure they've got full and free movement. Yes, we have. That's super cool. Okay, just check behind. Check around. Everything's good, everything's good. Let me move that out of the way. I should put that down there somewhere out of the way. Right, let's... get off for a little fly, shall we? We'll do a bit of hovering. It's been a long time. It really has. Learning to fly helicopters was actually quite tricky, I have to say. Aeroplanes, fixed-wing aeroplanes, I took to them really sort of naturally. But helicopters, they're a different animal altogether. And the thing is with helicopters, don't throw them around. You know, once you learn to fly them, don't get overconfident, because that's when they grab you. They really do. Now, the Gazelle helicopter is French. And, well, originally it was French. And they, the rotor goes the other way around, so you're doing a lot of pushing with your right foot to keep it straight. Because if you level the controls up, because the rotor rotates to the right, it will spin you around the other way to an American helicopter, like a Jet Ranger, for example. Like you're doing a lot of pushing with your left foot to counter the rotor. Okay, so when you start learning to fly helicopters, the trick is just to get it into the hover and just hold it there into the wind and just have it under control. You spend a lot of time just having, there's no point in just going places. Helicopters are very expensive and you don't gain anything really, because you know how to go places and navigate and stuff like that with a fixed wing license. And it's a lot cheaper, a fixed wing license, but if you're in the military, of course, it doesn't matter because you're not paying for it. But yeah, hovering is the technique. That's the trick. And then being able to slow the helicopter down and stop the helicopter, land the helicopter without spanking it into the ground, because they're very expensive pieces of kit. You know, you can't be slamming them into the ground. And when you get good, that's when you're more likely to have an accident, because you throw it around and you can get things like blade stall, and it's just about, it takes about 6 hours to crack flying helicopters. But like I say, putting them down gently is a knack for sure. That you can get. It doesn't take long. And then when you lift it into the hover, just sit there hovering and look at your instruments. And you can do this in VR. I can't fly a helicopter in on a 2D screen. I mean, people who can on a flight simulator, that's brilliant. They're better pilots than me, because I can't do it. I have to be in VR. Because I have to have peripheral vision. I have to be able to look around at my surroundings. Otherwise I'm stuffed. I'll just crash it every time. And here we are. This is Boscombe Down. This is where the Army Air Corps used to train their pilots. Well, I think they still do actually. But they don't have the Gazelle anymore. The Gazelle is gone now. This is the Gazelle helicopter. RAF markings. Can't fly from outside. Waffling all the way. And of course you can fly helicopters backwards, which is a great technique. You can fly them forwards, sideways. Sideways is fun. And I strongly recommend, if it's something you've always wanted to do but never had the money or the justification for doing it, do it in VR. And one of the things that I used to enjoy doing, we did a course in Salzburg in Austria. It's almost in Germany, but it's not quite. Hovering over buildings. If you had soldiers, for example, in the back of your helicopter, and the roof is not strong enough to take the weight of a helicopter, hover training, this is where it comes really essentially, because you can hover literally without touching the roof, just above the roof, and then your soldiers can jump in and out of the helicopter. You see, you can't land on a roof in Flight Simulator because some roofs you can with helipads, but if I descend into the roof, for example, I'm just going to do this now to show you, you can't do it. Okay, you just go through the building, you see that? The building isn't actually there, it hasn't got mesh around it. So what we do is we practice hovering like as if you were going to land on it, but you're not. So you're maintaining flying, and soldiers can jump in and out the helicopter for whatever reason, whatever purpose. And you can pick them up off the roof as well and take them away. And that was tremendous fun. I really enjoyed that course. We had Black Hawk helicopter and HU-1E, which is the old Huey helicopter, and that was completely uncorrelated. Don't learn to fly in an uncorrelated helicopter. Okay, get one that's fully correlated. Much easier to learn on, and then once you've learned, then you can try your hand on an uncorrelated one, because you'll find it much easier to do it that way. If you start off on an uncorrelated helicopter, completely uncorrelated, it'll just be so much harder. I mean, it is possible. People used to do it that way. But there's semi-correlated as well, and there's fully correlated. So if you're paying all that money, you may as well go on a fully correlated. This is a fully correlated helicopter. What that means is you're not revving it and learning to fly it at the same time, because you've got to keep your... Every time you increase the blade pitch on the disc above you to climb like this, you'd have to rev it as well. So your RPM, your revving speed of the main disc, has to be a certain RPM, otherwise you won't fly. And it does it automatically for you in a fully correlated helicopter. Whereas on a semi-correlated, it doesn't. You've got to rev it every time you change the pitch of the blades to go up or down. You've got to reduce or increase your RPM, and you're constantly watching the needles on the dashboard there instead of looking outside and flying the helicopter. But I love helicopters. I really, really enjoy flying helicopters. They are so expensive though, so Flight Simulator, I'm afraid, is the only way I can afford it. And I'm too old to join the military. And you can also land on moving ships, helipads on top of skyscrapers, all kinds. You can do all this in Flight Simulator for free. So why go to all that expense of doing it and paying all that money when you can do it for nothing? There we go. The Gazelle helicopter, and they've only just retired it. I love the Gazelle. I learned to fly helicopters in a Gazelle, and ironically it was the first helicopter I ever flew in. I was in the Air Cadets, and I was in the back. I was sat in the middle at the back, and it was a Royal Marines helicopter. at RAF Halfar in Malta in 1976, and I was like, whoa, I love helicopters, that was so cool. So there you go, the Gazelle helicopter. Anyone can do this, right? You don't need a medical or a load of money. All you need is a gaming PC and a VR headset, and you can learn to fly helicopters. I've got, like I say, a joystick, some rudder pedals, because you do need them. And a collective lever, which is that handbrake looking thing there. That's the up and down lever. You pull it up, like to put the brake on, and that will make you rise. And if you lower it down again, that'll make you come down. And it's a case of just getting used to coordinating the up and down movement with the feet and the stick. So you're doing three things at the same time. And it takes a little bit of practice to get your head around it, but it's not actually difficult once you crack it. And it'll take you about 6 hours to crack it. Thanks for watching.